What is up, guys? Doomwake here, coming at you with another modern video. As you can see here today, we have some Grixis Death Shadow. As always, before we continue, if you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and let me know what you think of this deck, Grixis Shadow. If you've played it before, if you like the deck, overall thoughts in the video. So, as you can see here, we have a Death Shadow variant. Now, for those of you who are not as familiar with the longevity of Modern, Death Shadow has been a player in the format for quite some time. There was actually a video, I believe it was back in 2017, where I think it was LSV had talked about the deck, the Grixis Death Shadow deck, and they actually, people believed at one point that they thought Death Shadow was going to get banned. That's how good it used to be, the Grixis version. But ever since the release of Lurrus, the Grixis version has kind of fallen out of favor because if you're playing Lurrus as your companion, you're not allowed to play permanents that cost 3 or more mana, which means you don't have access to Street Wraith and Gurmag Angler. Now, even though that it hasn't been the most popular version of Death Shadow, people have still played Grixis, and there are diehard Grixis fans out there. Some have even tried to play Grixis with Lurrus. I believe Aspiring Spike has done that a couple times on his channel. But today in particular, we're talking about the sort of old school Grixis version with Street Wraith, Gurmag Angler, and we have a bit of a new addition here from Strixhaven in the form of Expressive Iteration. If y'all have seen my Blue-Red Prowess videos, I have been talking very, very highly about this card in that deck in particular, and I've done quite well with Blue-Red Prowess. But today we're trying it in a bit of a different shell, in this Grixis Shadow shell. So just kind of give you a general synopsis of the deck. It's pretty straightforward. You're dealing damage to yourself between fetches, shocklands, Thoughtseizes, Dismembers, Street Wraith. Why are we dealing ourselves so much damage? So we can get a Death Shadow online as quickly as possible. The main thing about this deck is just trying to get a threat into play and protect it. So, try to play a fast Shadow or Gurmag Angler, and then protect that, whether that be with Inquisition or Thoughtseize, or Stubborn Denial, which is, as long as you have a Shadow or an Angler in play, assuming the Shadow is a 4/4, you're always going to have Ferocious, so this is just basically 1-mana negate. And then the rest of the deck is cantrips. We have Thoughtscour to... Thoughtscour is a bit of a cool one in this deck because obviously, just the text in the card, mill 2, draw a card, right? You're always going to target yourself with Thoughtscour. There's some cool stuff you can do with Mishra's Bauble. So, for example, if you have a Mishra's Bauble, a Thoughtscour, and a Street Wraith, you can Mishra's Bauble yourself, take a look at the top card. If it's good, well, just don't cast Thoughtscour, draw it. If it's a bad card, you can just Thoughtscour yourself. Or, again, if it's a good card, you can just immediately draw it with Street Wraith and not mill it over with Thoughtscour. So there's some cool stuff you can do with that, just like filtering your draws and making sure you always draw gas and draw the right cards when you need them. And we also have removal spells, again, the aforementioned Dismember, as well as Fatal Push, been a staple of black decks ever since it's been printed into Modern. And then we have some Temur Battle Rages, which are mainly for when you need to race against other combo decks. You need to make sure that you can kill them before they get set up. So combo, Tron, stuff like that, big mana strategies. That's where Temur Battle Rage really shines. The card is not very good against decks that have a plethora of removal spells, because it's really hard to set up. But sometimes you can protect it with Stubborn Denial and Thoughtseize, so it's not the end of the world. And then Expressive Iteration, which is a bit of... It's kind of a slow card. I wonder, I'm gonna play it as it lies in the. This is a list I copied from Shadow Aficionado Ben Jones, but I think this deck might want an extra land because with Expressive Iteration you really want to hit your first 3 land drops so you can Expressive Iteration and immediately play a 1-mana spell off of it. So I might look to add a land to this deck in the future, but for now we're gonna try it as is. And yeah, that's the main deck. Sideboard, we have our sort of counter magic package, if you will. We got a bunch of counter spells in the sideboard. So against control decks, when your removal spells are bad, you have 4 Fatal Push, 2 Dismember. You cut those 6 for 6 counter spells, which is kind of a nice clean swap. We have Jace for those control decks as well. Good against control, good against other grindy decks like Jund and things like that. Along with some Kolaghan's Command to kind of facilitate that whole grindy package. So we got a lot of cards for the grindy and control matchups. And then we got some Liliana's Triumphs for Auriok Champions, protection from red creatures, protection from black creatures. Excuse me. as well as it has some utility against Prowess, because this deck doesn't have a ton of answers to Stormwing Entity. So what you can do is you can, either Fatal Push or post-board drawn in the lock their earlier creatures, and then you can Liliana's Triumph if they have a Stormwing Entity. And then Kozilek's Return for the Heliod matchup, kills Auriok Champion, kills a lot of stuff in their deck. Just very good against decks that have, cheap creatures and things of that nature, so... but anyways, that is the deck, so I hope you enjoyed that little deck tech. And remember, before we continue, as always, like and subscribe, and I will see you in just a little bit for round number 1. Alright guys, we're here for round number 1 of our Grixis Shadow League. What do we have here? We have a 1-land hand. This hand's kind of close, but the big problem with this hand, other than the fact that it only has 1 land, is outside of Inquisition, it doesn't really have much to do with its mana. Like, this is essentially a 3-mana spell. We're not even close to turning on the Angler, so I'm going to ship this. And this hand is not really much better, but I think I'd rather keep this than go to 5. And just hope that our Fatal Push is live. Maybe we'll draw a Thought Scour. If we draw a Thought Scour, we can potentially turn on this Angler pretty quickly, but again, I think keeping this hand is better than going to 5. Could be wrong, though. I could see going to 5. Alright, our opponent has taken a mulligan to 6. Let's see if they go any further. This hand could really use a Thoughtseize. Even a Bauble would be fine, because we can Bauble ourselves, and if the card's bad, like if it's another land or something we don't want, we can shuffle it away. Yeah, any discard spell is good. It's kind of what this hand is mostly looking to draw. Let's see what we are up against. Wooded Foothills. Hopefully they play an Arbor Elf. Utopia Sprawl is not the best. Guess I could have Stubborn Denialed that. I probably should have, actually. It shows white. Yeah, I probably should have stubbed that. I didn't really think about that. I kind of just clicked through it. Probably would have been better. Alright, pass. Yeah, because now I can't Stubborn Denial a Heliod. Probably should have countered that. I mean, I guess there is some consideration to holding the Stubborn Denial for Collected Company, but not sure if it's reasonable to hold it there, because they could also just hit all their land drops and, like next turn, for example, if I don't have a creature in play and they play land Collected Company, I can't counter it anyways, so. Alright, so Ranger Captain's going to get Ballista most likely. They did. I think I'm just going to Fatal Push this end step so I can use my mana. I also could potentially just play an Angler now, which I probably should. Playing an Angler now is kind of bad if they have company and no land, but remember, if they have land company, I can't stub it anyways. So I think my best play is to just play the Angler, which they probably can't kill because it doesn't die to Skyclave. Hope they either don't have a company or choose to wait until my turn, which, I mean, if they have company, they're going to play it, but... Okay. They have Heliod plus Ballista. Yeah, I guess I could have waited on the Fatal Push, but... There's an island on top, which is not good enough, because we need to find an answer to this Ballista. Assuming they go for it, though. I wonder if I should attack. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even if I don't attack and they have a land, they can just go land, 4 mana, put a counter on this, 2 mana, give it lifelink. Because if I don't attack and they don't have a land... Well, actually, no, they can still kill me because they just Pendelhaven, give it +1/+2, and then give it lifelink. So I should probably attack. I just have to find a removal spell. Yeah, possibly casting that Fatal Push was bad. Maybe I should have just waited. Alright, we drew a Dismember, which is not bad. Definitely not bad. Well, now we're kind of in an awkward spot because... So I couldn't Dismember on their upkeep, because if I Dismember on their upkeep, they go, give the Ballista +1/+2, give it lifelink, and then kill me. But now, if they have a land, they can just... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can play a land, give the Ballista lifelink, attack, and then if I go to Dismember before damage, they can do the same thing. Give it +1/+2, and then kill me. So I need them to not have a land, I think? Because if they don't play a land first, what I can do... Oh no, I'm still in a bad spot, because even if they don't play a land first, if they give this lifelink... Like, let's say they just don't have a land. They tap 2 mana, give it lifelink. Oh, no, because they would have to tap the Pendelhaven. So if they tap Plains, Pendelhaven, give it lifelink. Go to combat. I can Dismember it before damage, and if this is tapped, because they tap these two to give it lifelink, if they tap this to give it lifelink, they would leave a mana floating. I can let them get rid of the, like, burn the mana. They go to combat. I Dismember this before attacks. It's a 1/1 with lifelink. They can... Oh no, because it's the same thing. They just Pendelhaven it and kill me, so I should be dead either way. I think I messed this game up pretty bad. Definitely should have stubbed the Sprawl. And I think I maybe shouldn't have cast Fatal Push. That one's a little bit closer, but... Because there's a world where even if I don't cast Fatal Push, they can just wait a turn on the Ballista. And... like, if they have a land, they go sack the Ranger Captain, play Ballista for 2, give it lifelink, and then I still lose anyways. Because they can sack the Ranger Captain before putting the Ballista in play. So, I still might have lost even if I Fatal Pushed. Or even if I held the Fatal Push. But I definitely should have stubbed their Utopia Sprawl. That's for certain. There was no reason not to. Yeah, so they figured it out. And if I respond with Dismember, they have a mana floating. They use their other planes, give it lifelink, pump it with Pendelhaven, and then I die. Alright, yeah, we're dead. Messed that one up pretty badly. Alright, Kozilek's Return is good. Liliana's Triumph is good. I think Stubborn Denial is quite bad. They only have Company and Sprawl as targets. And they also have Veil of Summer. And I think I'm going to trim an Iteration just because I think that it's a little too fast. Like, we don't have a lot of time to dirtle with Iteration. I think we just have to try to be as aggressive as possible. This hand seems good. Could potentially play a very, very fast Gurmag Angler. The basic island is kind of awkward, but... Alright, so what you want to do first is you want to bauble yourself first. And then if the top card's good, because we're looking for a Thoughtseize. It's a Polluted Delta, which I don't really want. So let's get Blood Crypt, Cycle Street Wraith. Again, trying to find a Thoughtseize, which we did not hit, but... Those cards aren't bad. Iteration's also not bad. Alright, so they're going to hold up Veil of Summer. We're going to play a Gurmag Angler. Yeah. Get Watery Grave. Hopefully they don't have Path to Exile. Path would be a little annoying. I guess Path to Exile is a reason to keep in Stubborn Denial, but I don't know. I feel like they just don't have enough targets for Stubborn Denial in most games. It's possible I could keep it over both of the copies of Iteration, but... Alright, let's go attack first. See what they do. See if they want to cast the Path. They're choosing not to. Alright, let's play Expressive Iteration. Alright, the basic swamp is kind of awkward because now And remember, we're still kind of playing around Veil of Summer, so I might not want to cast the Thoughtseize this turn. But I still think I'd rather have access to the Thoughtseize than the second iteration. Because I think they might play a 3-drop next turn, and if they play a 3-drop, then I can Thoughtseize them. But it might just be better to take the iteration. Because I don't want to cast Thoughtseize now into 1 mana, because they probably have Veil of Summer. So what if we just did iteration, bottom, exile, play swamp, pass. I'm playing very, very hard around Veil of Summer here. I think I can afford to. Yeah, they're not going to do anything. I think this is okay for me. Let's attack first. Let's see what they do. Hopefully they don't have path, which they don't. So let's go expressive iteration. I'm at 10. So we can go put Fatal Push in hand, bottom the Thought Scour, exile the Shadow, play Shadow, play Steam Vents, pass. Alright, yeah, see, they're cycling Veil of Summer. We kind of assumed they had that the whole game. They could have a company here, but I feel like given our hand is just all removal, I think we should be able to beat company. Auriok Champion is whatever. We have Kozilek's Return, so we should just be able to kill them right now. Let's just do it this way. Let me attack for lethal. They may have path now? Alright, they don't. Is there any chance I want Stub? The problem with Stub is it's also not great against Veil of Summer. And I don't really see anything else that I would want to cut. The only thing is maybe like these slower cards like Snapcaster and Iteration. But I guess I could have Drown in the Lock over Snapcaster Mage because it's somewhat decent against company. Nah, I'm going to keep the snaps, though. Snap with snap removal spells is decent against them because you have, you know, push, dismember. Saying it's comically bad against Veil of Summer. I don't think I'm supposed to mulligan, though, so. They're fetching main phase. That's good for me. That is good for me. Okay, more Thoughtseizes. I'm going to bubble myself first to see if my top card is good or not. So I kind of just want to find a shadow here. Delta on top. I don't really want Delta. I think I'm going to get blue-black or red-black. I think because of Thought Scour, it's more important to get blue-black right now. And I'm leading on Thoughtseize for Death Shadow purposes. So their hand is Company, Feeder, Sprawl. So I can just take Feeder this turn, and then next turn take Company. I get horribly punished if they draw exactly Veil of Summer. But I think I'm going to try and get a little greedy here. Veil of Summer is the only card that punishes me for taking this line. And I think it's worth it. It's possible I was supposed to lead on Inquisition. But then if I wanted to take the company, I couldn't have taken it, you know. Alright. Plains, Windswept Teeth. I think I'm still going to cast the Inquisition just so I can put a card in my graveyard for Gurmag Angler. I know it's a brick, but I just want to put a card in my graveyard for the Angler. So if I don't draw a land, then I can guaranteed play the Angler. Same thing for this Thoughtseize. Also, Thoughtseize is good in case they drew Path to Exile. And I think I'm going to lead on Angler, because it's more pressure in the short term. And then next turn we can play Shadow with Dismember up. Hopefully that's good enough. Also, leading on Angler is better if they draw Skyclave Apparition. It's a good draw. That is a good draw. However, if they don't play the Ballista this turn, I can Inquisition it, so... And it looks like they're choosing not to play it. In their defense, I've already cast 4 discard spells. It's unlikely I have a 5th one. It's way more likely at this point that I have removal than discard. I mean, we have both, so it doesn't matter either way, but... Alright, let's attack first. They go to 12. Inquisition your Ballista. Play a Shadow. And they have a Plains in hand. We can Dismember the Ranger Captain. Or I can just cast Thoughtseize, which pumps the Shadow. 5, 9, 11, so they're just dead, okay. Right. That is 13 damage. Alright, so that was round number 1 against Heliod. I messed up a little bit game 1. I think game 1 was a game I probably could have won if I stubbed the Utopia Sprawl, but I think it still would have been a close game. And yeah, games 2 and 3 were pretty convincing in favor of Shadow, so I think this matchup is overall pretty close. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the games, and I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 2. Alright, YouTube, back here for round number 2, Grixis Shadow League. What do we have here? Have a Cantrip, a land, a Thoughtseize. This hand I think is pretty borderline, but I'm going to try it. We can deal ourselves 4 damage on turn 1, which means even if we draw a fetch land, we won't necessarily be able to play Shadow, but... Uh-oh. This is one of those games where being on the draw is kind of tough. I'm going to bobble them for more information on my Thoughtseize. They have a Tron land on top, which means we're probably dead. Wait, what? I gotta tell you, YouTube, I did not expect my opponent, when I cast Thoughtseize against Urza's Tower Expedition map, I did not expect to see 2 copies of Mana Tithe. But here we are, I guess. I'm not really sure what to make of that. Interesting. And now we know their whole hand. They played Power Plant. Mono White Tron, huh? Gotta say, Mono White Tron was not on my list of things I expected to see today. Alright, let's cycle Street Wraith, try and find a land. And we did not. Well, I have the Thoughtseize. It's really awkward because they're going to get a Plains and probably play the Plains, and if we don't find a land, we can't play Shadow, because we know they have Mana Tithe. Mana Tithe actually looking pretty good this game. As much as I laughed at it previously. Are they not getting a Plains here? Wow, they didn't get a Plains after I missed a land drop. That is surprising. I'll probably just draw Karn here. Blast Zone. I wonder if they're doing a challenge where they're just playing Mono Green Tron with 4 copies of Mana Tithe with no way to actually cast it. Maybe. Alright, what you drawing? I think that might actually be what's going on here. I think that might actually be what's happening. They don't actually have ways to cast Mana Tithe, it's just a troll. Bravo, opponent, bravo. Yeah, it's not a good draw. So they have Mana Tithe, Ancient Stirrings, X. Really want to draw a fetch land here. Alright. Deck for 1. I wonder if I have to put this other shadow under the bus just so I can play a Gurmag Angler. Because if I don't play another shadow, they're not going to pop the Blast Zone. They're not going to pop the Blast Zone versus just a 1/1. So I think I actually have to commit another threat here. Because even if they pop the Blast Zone and I draw a land, I can then just double spell, which I think might be good enough. But like, if I don't do anything here, we're just staring at each other, and that game does not favor me. So. Whoa. Whenever an opponent casts his first spell, they pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Alrighty then. Well, we didn't find a land. Yeah, alright, I'm off it. Next game. Some sort of Urzatron deck. We're just gonna say it's Urzatron. I couldn't tell you what else they have. Kolaghan's Command, Disdainful Stroke, Mana Leak, all pretty good. Fatal Push, definitely bad. Dismember is somewhat okay against Walking Archaic, or whatever that card's called. Wandering Archaic. It's okay. I think I might not have time for iteration in this matchup. So maybe I would rather go, like, -1 iteration and keep 1 Dismember for the Archaic. Yeah, that's fine. I want to keep all my discard in the play. This hand's missing a threat, but we have a lot of other good pieces. I think I'm supposed to keep it and just hope to draw a threat. If this hand does draw a threat, it's quite good. Alright, I'm going to bobble myself first. Mana Leak, which I don't really want. So let's just go Blood Crypt Inquisition. It's kind of awkward to get the Blood Crypt here, because then I can't double Thought Scour next turn, but I want to make sure I have black and red mana. This is mine. Under the off chance they have Chalice of the Void, I'm just going to pass with my mana up. And if they go land Chalice, then I can Stubborn Denial it. If not, I'll just end step Thought Scour. I guess they probably don't have Chalice because they're playing Map and Chromatic. It's unlikely they have Chalice. Alright, I'm going to Iteration, hope I spike a land here. I did. So let's put Street Wraith in hand, Swamp on bottom, exile the Delta. Cycle Street Wraith in case I hit a Thoughtseize. So their hand is Wormcoil, Karn, Karn. Could gamble and hope they didn't draw exactly Urza's Tower. I think I'm supposed to, actually. Because if I hold up my mana, like, let's say I don't do anything. If I hold up 1 mana, they just go Tower, Karn the Great Creator, and I can't Stubborn Denial it anyways. And if they don't have it this turn, this puts me in such a much better position. Thought Scouring now to try and find a Fetch Slam, which I did not. So now I just have to hold up all my mana. I have to hold up Leak / Disdainful Stroke. Alright, they found a Blast Zone, which is a little annoying, but they're just popping at main phase. Casting Karn, the Great Creator, which I will definitely use the opportunity to Stubborn Denial, because my other counter spells are hard counters, whereas, well, I guess Mana Leak isn't, but maybe I was supposed to use Mana Leak there? The thing about Mana Leak is I can also tag Wormcoil with Mana Leak, whereas I can't with Stub. Alright, I really want to draw a Fetch Land. I guess I really want to draw a Gurmag Angler, but alright, so let's do this. Get Watery Grave. Am I committing one more Shadow to the Blast Zone? I don't think I am, because I still have 3 counterspells lined up in my hand. I think I'm just going to chill. Maybe it's okay to commit 1 more. But if I just counter their next 4 spells, I think it's okay for me. Alright, now that Stub is a hard counter, I'm just going to Mana Leak this. Because now I have 2 hard counters left. Angler would be a very good draw. Honestly, even a fetch land now is not bad because it makes it almost a 2-turn clock. It almost forces the action on Blast Zone. That's actually pretty good, too. I'll take the Wormcoil because Wormcoil is the only one that can't get stubbed. And just 6. If they find exactly Urza's Tower this turn, there's a chance that they might be able to get out of this because we only have 2 counterspells for their 3 threats, but looks like they did not find Tower right now. I'm going to cast Iteration to try and find a fetch land so I can force the issue on Blast Zone. That's not bad either. So let's go hand the Street Wraith, bottom the Snap, exile the Thoughtseize. Okay, perfect. Now we get to force the issue on Blast Zone and then go Shadow Thoughtseize, hold up Stub. I'm just gonna get Swamp. I don't want to like randomly die to Ballista for no reason. Because if I go to 2, they can just Ballista for 2. Oh, I guess if I'm Thoughtseizing, then I'm still gonna die to Ballista. Because if I Thoughtseize play Shadow, then I can't hold up Stroke. Maybe I just don't play the Thoughtseize then? Just play 1 Shadow and pass. Yeah, I feel like Ballista's the only way I can lose this game, so I'm just not going to play the Thoughtseize. That might be kind of stupid, but if I just play Thoughtseize and Shadow, I go to 2, and if they have Ballista, they can go land Ballista for 2, and I can't stub it, and I'm tapped out of D-Stroke. So I think Ballista being the only way I lose that game makes me just want to do it that way. I don't know if that's right, but I'm not bringing in Drown in the Luck, even though it is a counter spell, because they don't really put a lot of cards in their graveyard, so I don't think Drown is actually a counter spell most of the time you want it to be. So that's why I'm not bringing in Drown. I think I'd rather have Iteration. One lander, no Thoughtseize, no Shadow. Sand is just so clunky. Iteration, TBR, and Stroke. And no cheap spells. I'm going to mulligan this. Alright, the sand is better. I think I'm going to put back the Colligan's Command. Probably go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Scour Angler. Chromatic Star. Alright, Watery Grave. Thoughtseize you. Just take the Stirrings, right? I think so. I'm going to try and keep them off Tron. I think there's also a reasonable argument for taking Karn the Great Creator, but alright, they sack Star for green, play Forests, Sphere, sack Sphere for green. Alright, so we know about Wandering Archaic and Karn the Great Creator. How many red cards do I have in my deck? Iteration, K Command, TBR. I probably should get a red source here. I'm gonna just get Blood Crypts. I guess the awkward part about this is I'm giving up the ability to snap Thoughtseize if I draw on land, but I don't really think I can afford to do nothing here. So I think I just have to play my threat and hope to find a piece of interaction for the Karn. So they're going to cast... Ooh, I like this. Each player looks at the top 5 cards of the operating reveal. A land card, land and or instant or source card from among the each purpose cards they reveal in their hand. Each player gains 3 life. I mean, giving me 3 life kind of sucks, but I'll take a land and a spell. Reveal a land and or instant or sorcery spell. So I will take Bloodstained Mire and Mana Link. They have 2 Urza's Mines. Yeah, I'm going to take Mana Link, I think. They reveal the Tower and a Scrying. Okay. So they have Karn, Tower, Scrying, 3 unknowns. That's a good one. Let's get Watery Grave. Play Shadow, pass with Leak / Stub Up. Kind of want to stub this turn so I can snap stub the turn after. But I should probably just use the Mana Leak because that's the one they know about. They don't know about the stub. Fetch land to be really, really good. Dismember. Let's say Iteration, because I can still hold up Stub. We can try and find a fetch land, which we missed. That stinks. Hand, bottom, exile. Let's bobble them to see what they're drawing. It's a Blast Zone, which doesn't kill Angler, so it's not the end of the world. Attack for 6. Hold up Stub. Another Angler is not ideal. I really just want to find a fetch land. They have another Scrying. Right, I can just stub that. We still know about Karn Blast Zone. I was going to say, was that bait and they just had the power plant the whole time? Nah. Alright, Bobble... Fetch land? So now I think I just attack for 6 and hold up Snap Stub. Because their top card's Karn Liberated, which they can't actually cast. It sucks if they have Wormcoil Engine. Not much I can do about that, though. Because I can't Snap Stub. I could Thought Scour now to try and find Thoughtseize, but if I miss on land, I can't Snap Stub the Karn the Great Creator. I feel like it's just better to hold up Snap Stub. Alright, I'm just going to pass. Just hope they don't have Wormcoil. It's really bad for me if they have Wormcoil, though. But I guess if I Thought Scour and miss on land, what's the worst they can get with Karn the Great Creator on 2 additional mana? Can't be that much, right? Okay, well now the snap should just kill them. They can Blast Zone away the Shadow, but Angler plus Snap should be enough for lethal. I don't think there's really anything they can have. Okay. Target this. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Alright, untap. Attack you. Because they could have, like, Spatial Contortion for the Snapcaster Mage. No, because they would have instepped it, because now I can Snap Stub. So they would have end stepped it while I was tapped out. So yeah, that was. I'm not really sure what was up with those Mana Tides game one. It's kind of funny. The one game they drew 2 Mana Tides was the game I lost, but I also just didn't find a second land. Yeah, I don't know. This card seemed better for me than it did for my opponent, so I'm not really sure that this is what you want to be doing in Tron. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the games, and I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 3. Alrighty, guys, we're here for round number 3. We won the die roll. Angler, Angler, Shadow, Shadow, Thought Scour. This hand's kind of weird, but we have Thought Scour as a redraw. The second Angler is kind of a brick. I think I want to try this hand. It's possible this hand is supposed to be a mulligan, but 2 lands, a cantrip, and a couple threats. I mean, too many threats, but you can turn on the Angler pretty quickly. 2, 3, 4. I wonder if I'm supposed to play fetch first. So then if I draw another fetch land, I can turn to the Angler. Yeah, I'm just going to get Steam Vents. Getting Steam Vents first kind of stinks, because then you can't double Black Spell if you don't draw a 3rd land, but I think it's okay. Alright, Forest go. Wonder what that is. I'm getting Steam Vents over the other Water Grave because I want to make sure I have access to red mana in case I draw Temur Battle Rage. But yeah, that's a punish. Didn't sort of. I actually sort of didn't get punished because I couldn't play 2 spells anyways because I didn't draw a fetch. Dryad, Pact, and a bunch of Titans. Alright, I'll just take Dryad. So their hand's just all lands and Titans. That is annoying that they got that, but alright, now we just get to play 2 Shadows, which is good. Hopefully we draw another fetch land. Them having the natural Bajuka Bog is a little annoying for the Anglers, but there was no situation where I could have cast the Anglers anyways, so there's nothing I could have done to prevent that. Other than drawing a fetch land so I could turn to the Angler, but that did not happen. Sanctuary. Pick up Forest. Fetch land here would be huge. Another Shadow is not great. Attack for 2. Need a way to deal ourselves damage. Fetch land, Thoughtseize. Straight Wraith even would be fine. How about Street Wraith into Thoughtseize? Now we're talking. Alright, there's the forest we knew about. I wonder if, yeah, it looks like they're going to pact for Dryad this turn. I wonder if they're getting Azusa? No, it's got to be Dryad, right? Yeah. So now they go play Dryad, copy Sanctuary. Yeah, Basuva, copy Sanctuary. Oh, they have Valakut. Okay. And Reclaimer, huh? Okay. Fetch land is not bad. So we know their hand is these. Or no, 3. We know Titan, Titan, Vasuva. So if I play Delta and attack with all 3... Let's see if they want to block. I feel like they're not going to block, but I'm just not sure what I'm fatal pushing is the question. That's what I have to figure out. Alright, take 12. So if I fatal push the Dryad, they have to pay for Pact. Yeah, I'm just going to push the Dryad. And I'm gonna push it now so they can't get Valakut triggers, because if I wait, I don't have a Revolt trigger on their turn. So I think this is my best way around this. I mean, other hand is Titan, Titan, Vasuva, which I don't think any of those get them out of this. But if I kill the Reclaimer and they draw like a fetch land, they get to go Vesuva, copy Valakut, play fetch land, deal me 12. So that's why I think you want to kill the Dryad there. Alright. Reclaimer, Amulet. Kolaghan's Command blows up Amulet. Could be something we want access to. Triumph, I think, is pretty good. Mana Leak and Disdainful Stroke, I think, are good. Question is, what the heck do we cut? Because we have a decent number of good cards in this matchup. I think Snapcaster's a little too slow here. Same with Iteration. I just want to be super lean. I'm also not the biggest Stub fan, because their deck is mostly creature-based. So I think I'd rather just have mono removal and just not worry about Stub. Like, Stub tags Amulet early, but we're also on the draw, where I think Stub is a lot worse. And then maybe keep in one Snapcaster Mage. I think I like the way this looks. Against normal Amulet, I wouldn't keep in all the Fatal Pushes, but against this deck in particular, they have Reclaimer and Dryad, so I think Fatal Push is very important. I think you want max removal in this matchup. Alright, on the draw, game 2. This hand could be anything. Even a boat. I'm going to keep it. 3 cantrips, Thoughtseize. This hand's quite good if we find Shadow. Valakut, go. Can live with that. Alright, Street Wraith, Street Wraith. 16. Can't play Shadow on 1, unfortunately. But I can Thoughtseize into Shadow. Path, Dryad, lands. How much do I care about this Dryad? I don't think a ton. I think I'd rather just take the Path, because they might just get clapped by the Shadow. It is awkward that they have Cavern versus my double Mana Leak, because they can just name Giant with this. But, oh, they drew a spell. Elvish Reclaimer. That's pretty good for them. I think I want to Thought Scour first to try and find a Fatal Push or a Dismember. Because I can't play 2 threats anyways. Because I can fetch to 5 cards in my graveyard and I can't play Shadow Angler. So because I can only play 1 threat regardless, I might as well just Thought Scour first. Missed. Alright, let's just get Blood Crypt. Play Shadow. Maybe I'm supposed to play Angler first to play around Bojuka Bog. But if they want to spend their turn using this to get Bog and not playing Dryad, I think I'm okay with that. They might do that, but... The nice thing about playing Shadow this turn is I get to go Fetch, Shock, next turn attack for 8, and then the turn after represent lethal. Whereas if I play Angler, I guess if I play Angler, attack for 5, then play Shadow, I'm still representing lethal the turn after, because it's 5 and then 15. So, yeah, maybe that was bad. Alright, I'm gonna snap play this Angler before they get the chance to respond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm holding up Mana Leak. Actually, no, I can't hold up Mana Leak, right? It's 5, 4, 3, 2. Because if I hold up Mana Leak, they go sack Flagstones, get Valakut, get land. They have 4 lands in play. They go Cavern, Dryad, play land, kill me. Yeah, so I have to play Thoughtseize this turn. So I probably should have thought he's pre-combat, because I just missed 2 damage here. Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, I just missed out on 2 damage. But, yeah, knowing their hand, I have to play the Thoughtseize this turn. So they should be at 8. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. Could. Hope to dodge. We have to dodge Titan and Dryad, and I don't think we can beat either Titan or Dryad here. If they didn't have the Cavern, I could probably hold up Mana Leak there. Well, no, because... 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, so they play land. Yeah, because they couldn't play Dryad and pay for Mana Leak if they didn't have Cavern, but... They had Cavern, so it's a moot point. It's a Shadow on top. I'm at 3, which is actually kind of awkward because it means I can't attack with both. So the Shadow is lethal, right? But if I attack with both, they just block the Shadow, take 5. They can sack 2 lands on tap, attack for 3, so I can't even attack with the Angler. Which kind of stinks, but... Oh, I guess if they have Colony Garden in their deck, they could get Colony Garden, block the Shadow, have 2 3/4s, untap, attack with 2 3/4s. Which it looks like that's what they're doing. So I have to fetch away the Shadow and hope to find a removal spell. If I find a removal spell and they go for it, it's pretty good for me. Probably winning the game if they go for it and I draw a removal spell. Dismember or Fatal Push. Thought Scour is a redraw. Teleria West. Alright, let's see if they choose to go for it. Oh, they just drew Dryad anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, well, did not matter. Alright, next game. Still don't like Stub, G, Snap. Yeah, I'm just gonna submit. But again, that's why you want to keep all the removal spells. Their deck is, like, much more centered around Dryad than normal Amulet lists are, because they have Reclaimer and all that stuff, so... The removal spells are much better against these versions. The sand seems great. I'm gonna keep it. I'm going to bobble them, just so I get more information on my Thoughtseize. And I am going to lead on Thoughtseize first for Shadow purposes. It's only super awkward if I have to take an Amulet with the Thoughtseize, but... Bobble you... We have a Flagstones on top. Well, I do have to take an Amulet, but the rest of their hand is not very good, so I think we're fine. As long as we find a land. If I draw a land here, the game's probably over. Okay. Take a Dryad. Now I still play on... It's still going to be pretty rough for them. Excuse me. So they have these 3 in a breeding pool. There we go. So now let's Inquisition this time because we know about Dryad. And then play Blood Crypt. Shadow. Now their hand is all lands. Even if they draw Dryad, we have Liliana's Triumph. They drew Elvish Reclaimer. Good card, but we have the Triumph, so... Sucks that I don't get the Thoughtseize Angler. What if I just let them have the Reclaimer for one turn? Is that bad? I mean, I guess Thoughtseize doesn't do anything anyways. What's worst case scenario if I give them Reclaimer for one turn? They get to ramp the Flagstones. Is that big of a deal, though? I guess it is because they can get Cavern, which stops the stroke. Alright, I'll just play Triumph then. But casting Triumph here kind of sucks if they draw a Dryad. But if I play Angler, they just go Flagstones, sack Flagstones, get Cavern, and then my stroke is turned off anyways. Whereas now if I draw land, which I didn't, but I get to go Thoughtseize Angler. So 4, 5, 6. I'll keep Triumph and Thoughtseize for Snapcaster purposes. They don't even have a castle in their hand, so they can't even play a Titan if they draw it. So now I think we should be fine. They drew a Path, which pathing main phase, I'm down with that. Let's get an island. And they played Flagstones. So they go to 6. I'll play this untapped so I can stroke and Snapcaster Mage if I need to. Elvish Reclaimer. So they're dead. Because we know they have Forest that. Let me just go Snap Triumph end of turn. All right. 3-0 with Grixis Shadow. I don't know. I think these matchups are generally pretty good for Shadow, especially if you're on the play. But yeah, that was a cool match. Hope you enjoyed it. And 3-0, that's good. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 4. Alrighty, guys, we're back. Round number 4. Currently 3-0. Let's see if we can close out the 5-0. I'm always tempted by these one-land hands. The thing about this hand is, if Fatal Push is good, this hand is really good. So it's high upside, and we have a cantrip on the draw. I'm going to keep it, and just hope Fatal Push is live. Alright, Fatal Push is live. Alright, so let's go Bobble ourselves, because we're just looking for land here. So Bobble myself. Inquisition of Kozilek? No, I'd rather just have a land. Let's get Watery Grave. Cycle Street Wraith. Alright, Fatal Push you. Pass. There's our land, which is perfect. They could have Auriok Champion here, which would be pretty annoying. They don't, or maybe they do. Yeah, they have Sprawl. Sprawl plus Champion. That's worst case scenario for me. Yeah, that's bad. Not as bad, because I have 2 threats, but... still sucks. So now I can just go Inquisition Gurmag. Conclave Mentor, Ranger Captain of Eos, Spike Feeder. I think I'm just taking the Ranger Captain because it's a 2-for-1. The rest of the cards are not great for me, but... let's get Blood Crypt, Angler, Spike Feeder, Conclave Mentor. It's going to be a tough game. I think if they played almost any other card but Auriok Champion there, would be a pretty big favorite, but Auriok Champion specifically is kind of tough, because we can't really attack through it until we get multiple creatures in play. But we're kind of just far away from that, so... yeah, this sucks. Play a Shadow. Can't really attack, though. I'm kind of surprised they didn't play Conclave Mentor first. Sure. Resolves. If I push it now, They get to add a counter to the Spike Feeder. I think I have to use my mana, though. Because they get to go Crack Fetch, activate Spike Feeder, target itself, remove a counter, and then put 2 more on it because of the Conclave Mentor, so they can potentially basically just pay 2 mana, put a counter on the Feeder. They could also put a counter on the 2 counters on the Champion, but I think they'd rather just put a counter on the Feeder. Yeah. And then go to 22. Really wanted to draw a fetch land there. I mean, I don't think they're going to trade Shadow for Spike Feeder. But maybe they do? Is that a good trade for me? It's not really, because then I just have no shot at ever attacking. So I think I just have to wait. As weird as this is, I'm just not in a good spot. I mean, I'm dead to Heliod, but they don't know that. Jesus. Alright. Yeah, this is a tough game. I don't really know if I could have done anything different. I don't think so. Alright, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. What did we do the last time? K return Triumph. And we cut all the stubs in 1 iteration. I think I like that. Again, I think that Stub is one of those cards that does get a little bit better in post-board games because they have access to Veil of Summer. But at the same time, Veil of Summer is good against Stubborn Denial. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword there. This hand has 3 redraws. I'm just going to keep it. You have Thoughtseize and Fatal Push and a bunch of redraws, so... Bubble Vim before Thoughtseizing. I can even bubble myself to get perfect information. So I have an Inquisition on top, they have a Heath. I think I'm going to take Utopia Sprawl. Just try and stunt their mana. It's awkward because then they just get to go Heath, hold up Veil, and kind of blank my Inquisition. But if I take Veil and they play Sprawl, then I Inquisition take their Heliod. They still have a Mentor and a Ranger Captain. So I feel like I'd... Well, I just didn't draw land. That's super awkward. I was going to say I feel like I'd rather just stunt their mana denial, or like stunt their growth a little bit, make them play a little bit slower, given that my hand was kind of slow, but then I just bricked on land, so I guess we're just going to lose anyways. I mean, I kept the 1-land hand, but I also had 3 cantrips, and I still bricked on my second land, which is... Oh, and they drew Auric Champion. Lovely. Okay, well... Yeah, I'm off it. I could have played that game out, maybe draw a land or 2, but... Yeah, that was super frustrating. I mean, I still stand by the keep. 1 land with 3 cantrips, you get 4 looks at your second land, so I think that was just incredibly unlikely to happen, and good beats. But anyways, I'll see you back in just a bit. I'll see you back in just a little bit for the 5th and final round. Alrighty, guys, we're back here for round number 5, the final round after getting brutalized by Heliod. Hope that Fatal Push is good. This hand seems fine. Fatal Push may or may not be good. Do I want to bobble now? No, just pass. The drawing the second Angler looks bad, but it's not if they have Thoughtseize. It's not so bad, because our hand is basically Thoughtseize proof at this point. Sure. Urborg. Could be a Smallpox deck. Thoughtseize. I think I have to draw Thoughtseize because of Liliana the Veil. I can't really afford to let them have Liliana. Maybe now I can. Let's play Bloodstained Mire. Get Watery Grave. Thoughtseize you. Cling to Dust the Bauble. 2, 3, 4. Sure, that's fine. I mean, I'm going to take a Liliana because I get to Stubborn Denial one Liliana and then have the other one, you know what I mean? So I get to take one, stub the other one, but then I have to deal with the Guile, which kind of sucks. So hopefully we draw another stub. Or a discard spell to take the Kai's Guile. Or Shadow? Iteration is not bad. So I can go put Iteration in hand, bottom Snapcaster, exile Thoughtseize. Hope they didn't draw a second Kai's Guile. Alright, so they have Inquisition, Fatal Push. So Inquisition can take Iteration, but then they have to deal with Angler, which they can't currently do because they only have Fatal Push. Incoming, draw second Guile. They drew Marsh Flats. I can beat that. They firing up the vents? Really? Kind of okay with that. So 7, 8, 9. Let's Iteration here. Try and find a stub. Found a Shadow, which is not terrible, but we know they have Fatal Push. So their hand is Inquisition, Fatal Push. Maybe I'm just okay with them trading for the Shadow. But it might be better to just take Thought Scour. So I could, like, put the Shadow in my hand, bottom the Dismember, exile the Thought Scour. Thought Scour myself, and then just play Angler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go. Hopefully they don't draw Liliana of the Veil. That'd be bad. Inquisition's fine. They probably take Fatal Push? I'm not sure. But now we can just play the second Angler for 1 mana, and the Thought Scour, and the shooting just play it all. It took Thought Scour. Whoa. Okay, then. I was not expecting that. Snapcaster Mage was a good draw. Do I want to push damage with the Fatal Push? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to play my threats. I don't want to take a bunch of damage. Let's play Shadow. Angler, keep. Actually, what if I just snap Thoughtseize the Fatal Push? Go to 3? No, because I want it to be able to keep snap TBR. Snap's also better if they draw Liliana. Let's just snap Thoughtseize. I don't know if this is right, but... Alright. No attacks. No attacks. And the next turn we can just shove with everything. And then play Angler and have Fatal Push up for Shambling Vents. That was a really good draw from our opponents. Let me tell you. Really good draw. And they have Fatal Push on top. Lovely. Okay. Well, we're dead. Man. They drew Lingering Souls. Very, very unfortunate. Kind of okay with that trade. I mean, it's not great for me, but... I I have to keep the TBR in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I kind of want to keep all my mana up in case I draw Thought Scour off the bauble, like Thought Scour into Counterspell or something, but just bricked. Man. Did not think I was going to lose this game. But them drawing exactly Lingering Souls was pretty unfortunate. Maybe I had to Fatal Push there. Okay. Alright, we're dead. That was a frustrating game. I don't even know what I want to sideboard against black-white stuff. I don't know, I guess Jace. Fatal Push is really bad. They don't play a single creature because they have Nether Spirit. I could bring in Kozilek's Return for Lingering Souls. I'm gonna have TBRs, which I think is good enough. Alright, let's try this. Keep. Go Wandering Grave, Thoughtseize on 1. Pontu's Last Reckoning, Blood Chiefs. This is quite the deck. I guess I'll just take Fatal Push. Go. I mean, to be fair, even though our opponent's deck is probably not the best, this matchup for them is probably unlosable, so... I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Bobble myself. It is, drumroll. What a random time to fetch. Botsies. Bobble myself again. Stubborn Denial. I do actually want to draw Stubborn Denial, so... Okay, pass. Urborg. Man. I have 6. I probably should have cycled Street Wraith in response. Okay, I don't want to play this game anymore. We can never beat this deck. Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know. That was a little unfortunate way to end the league against white-black. Probably can't beat much other than Death Shadow, but it is what it is. Sometimes you get those matchups. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did. I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe if you made it this far, and I will see you in the next one.